78 basis points down to 26 basis points. Same plan, same employees, but nobody asked the question once their provider was selected. Hi, I'm Will Ham, CEO of 27T Financial, and if you're here with me today, you're likely an HR leader or committee member that is committed to closing the $27 trillion retirement savings gap. I'm here to tell you a story that's really not about a bad provider. It's about what nobody checks once that provider is selected. And this goes back to our conversation on our last video around the importance of quarterly fiduciary meetings and how having a process in place creates better outcomes for your people. One of my clients, Texas manufacturer, 600 employees, multiple locations across the country and actually across the world. I was introduced to them. They weren't looking for a lower fee. Really, they were looking for a relationship. Somebody that better understood their retirement plan, their needs, and the needs of their people. They didn't think they could get that at a lower fee. What we found out through our RFP process is not only could we improve their systems, their processes, and make it a better overall experience for their employees, but we could do so by lowering the plan cost by 52 basis points. Money hiding in plain sight. Now, a provider relationship announces itself loudly. A fee that's too high doesn't announce anything. Really, it just compounds silently in the wrong direction. And that's why having these processes in place can help you create better outcomes for your people and help close that gap. Now, what does that look like in reality? Because at the end of the day, 52 basis points is an arbitrary number that doesn't mean much. So what I want to show you here today is what that means in a hard dollar figure. So we have an illustration that shows a $150,000 account balance and comparing that 78 basis points in cost to that lower 26 basis points in cost illustration. And what you can see are three different timelines here. You have 10 years of compounding, 20 years of compounding, and 30 years of compounding at an average rate of 7%. Simply looking at changing of the fee over time. And what ends up happening is that high valued employee ends up putting $144,000 back into their pocket in the lower fee versus the higher fee. Now, I don't know about you, but when we're looking at employee outcomes, that's a significant number. And these are the processes that we want to put in place that help create these real outcomes for employees. Typically, what we see are these folks that stay with an organization over the long run are the ones that you want to keep. And so ensuring that these numbers and the plan costs are aligned with where your business is today, with growth and excitement that's happening internally, your plan matches that well too. Now, I was hesitant to make this video because overall fees have already come down industry-wide. So what's the gap? Since 2012, the DOL disclosure mandate genuinely drove prices down. But I believe that providers that are still selling on price today are really fighting yesterday's battle. And there's a key distinction here. The industry got cheaper and your plan is priced fairly are two very different claims. Really, only one of those gets checked without you asking. And on top of that, employees don't really understand what they're paying. If they're paying a high cost for a retirement plan or a low cost. Studies show 40% of participants don't understand the fee disclosures that are sent out to them. Heck, 41% of employees think they're not paying anything at all for retirement plan services. And that's where the actual problem is. It's not a knowledge gap about investing. It's a gap about whether a bill is being paid at all. So as an HR leader or committee member, why even review plan costs? To start, there are three visible costs within a retirement plan. You have your plan provider costs, your advisor costs, and your administrative costs. They're itemized, findable through the generic plan. So as an HR leader or committee member, how do you even understand the fees you're paying in your plan? By reviewing your annual fee disclosure documents, you can find 3 visible costs: record keeping costs, which is your plan provider; advisor costs, which is financial professional like myself; and your administrative costs, which can either be through a third party or through your current plan provider. Additionally, there's a 4th component that's going to be harder to understand, and that's the investment lineup, because a lot of those costs are built into the funds themselves and are not visible on that plan fee disclosure. Now, if your plan's been reviewed in the last decade, the initial fix was probably already done. But what often gets missed is the maintenance component, especially when it comes to the fee selection. So what we see is share class or CITs become available within a plan platform. And if you're offering those investments that tend to come at a higher price versus a lower one for the same investment costs, that's where you're leaving opportunity on the table for your employees. On top of that, understanding relative to the market are those visible costs, the plan provider, record keeping, and administrative costs, appropriate relative to where you are today? And that leaves me with the 2 questions that you should ask yourself. When did you last actually review your fees? Not at a glance during an annual strategy meeting, but really compare them to the marketplace. Or has your business changed material over the last few years in terms of how many people you have in your organization, what your cash flow is, your contributions, plan assets? Those factors play a significant role in the pricing of a retirement plan and leaves an opportunity for you to find a more efficient place to work within your retirement plan system. And now, if your honest answer to question 2 is yes, now is the time to begin your review process. This will allow enough time for you to get your change in place before January to establish a new plan and recognize that more efficient cost structure within your 401k. Plan fees are not the most exciting topic, but they're an important component of the success of a retirement plan. It's not something that's shouted out loud. It's something that quietly moves under the surface that needs to be identified by HR leaders and committee members of the retirement plan. So thank you for being with me, for taking these ideas and helping close the $27 trillion retirement gap one plan at a time. If you like this video, please subscribe to keep up to date with the new releases that we have, as well as subscribe to the newsletter that we put out every month, talking more in depth about the topics that we discuss here on the YouTube channel. Finally, if you're not sure where your plan sits today, we offer a free plan checkup. It's 10 simple questions to help you better understand how your plan is functioning today and where are the opportunities to improve. You'll see the QR code here on the screen, and I look forward to having a conversation with you in the future. Thanks. See you soon.